Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle and this is my Jane Austen July TBR video. I love Jane Austen July. It is one of the highlights of my reading calendar for the year. And so I thought I would show you what books I've got as possibilities to read for Jane Austen July this year. Jane Austen July is an annual event hosted by Katie from Books and Things and Marissa from Blatantly Bookish, and I will put an announcement video from them down in the description box below so that you can check it out. This is an event that's been going on for a few years now. Basically, it's all about reading works from Jane Austen or about Jane Austen, and I love it. This year, they have created a bingo card, which I adore, and I don't know if I'm going to get a blackout, but I'm certainly going to try. So the bingo card has wonderful stuff like a proposal of marriage, an aristocrat appears, a parent is embarrassing, a ball is attended, a mention of muslin, a trip to Bath, a scandal ensues. So I am really looking forward to filling in this bingo card this year as well. So the prompts for Jane Austen July. First is to read one of her 6 novels, and they are hosting a read-along of 2, Mansfield Park and Persuasion. But I just reread Persuasion in February, I think. But it's been a very long time since I've read Mansfield Park. So I am really looking forward to reading Mansfield Park again. This is the story of Fanny Price, who gets sent to live at her relative's house, Mansfield Park. And I quite enjoy this. I've heard a lot of people say that Fanny Price is, doesn't have much of a character, or she's too good, or whatever. And that for many people, this is their least favorite Jane Austen of her 6 main novels. So I'm really interested to reread this and to see where I would put it in my ranking of the 6. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to diving into Mansfield Park. The second prompt is to read something of Jane Austen's that is not one of her 6 main novels. And so for that, I am going to read The Watsons. Now, The Watsons is actually an unfinished fragment, let's say, because she only wrote about 50 pages of the story. And that is very unfortunate because I have read those 50 pages before as well, and it was a story that intrigued me, and I would have absolutely loved it if she had been able to finish it. But it's the story of Emma Watson. She is a girl who is sent to live with other people, and when the story begins, she comes back to her home. And so she's back home, but it is with a family that she no longer is very familiar with. Her father is ill. Her brothers are, not the most highly intellectual or of fine minds. But she meets a dashing Captain Fremantle, so who knows? And so this is directly connected to another one of the prompts, which is to read a modern retelling of a Jane Austen work. And this is a book by Joan Aiken called Emma Watson. And what she has done is she's taken Jane Austen's fragment and she's completed the story. Then she's just written a story based on that fragment. And Joan Aiken has done retellings or sequels to all the major works of Jane Austen, and so I'm really curious to see what she does with that fragment. So I've read the fragment, but I have not yet read what Joan Aiken does with it and how she expands and tells that story, and I'm actually really curious to see what she does with it. Okay, Another one of the prompts is to read a non-fiction book about Jane Austen or her time period. And I pulled a book off my shelves that I have not yet read, and this is called A Dance with Jane Austen by Susannah Fullerton. How a novelist and her characters went to the ball. And that just sounds really interesting to me. It's not a huge book, which is good. That has its advantages. So let's see. This was written in 2012, and the table of contents has stuff like learning to dance, an effective exhibition, dressing for the dance, getting to and from a ball, assembly balls, private balls, etiquette of the ballroom, men in the ballroom, dancing and music, they sat down to supper, conversation and courtship, the shape of a departed ball, and dance in Jane Austen films. And that just sounds really intriguing to me, and I'm really looking forward to diving into that. And then the other prompt is to read a book by a contemporary of Jane Austen. And this was actually on my TBR for Jane Austen July last year, and I never got around to it. So it's back up. This is The Mysteries of Udolpho by Radcliffe. This is the book that is mentioned in Northanger Abbey. I totally blanked out there for a minute, but this is the book that's mentioned in Northanger Abbey, so I'm really looking forward to diving into this. I love a good Gothic tale, and so The Mysteries of Udolpho is a story set in Italy, I think. Let's see. Quote, her present life appeared like the dream of a distempered imagination, or like one of those frightful fictions in which the wild genius of the poets sometimes delighted. Reflection brought only regret, and anticipation terror. End quote. Such is the state of mind of Anne Radcliffe's orphaned heroine, Emily St. Aubert, who finds herself imprisoned in her evil guardian, Count Montoni's gloomy medieval fortress in the remote Apennines. Terror is the order of the day inside the walls of Udolpho as Emily struggles against Montoni's rapacious schemes and the threat of her own psychological disintegration. Sounds great. I love a good Gothic tale. There's two more prompts, and that is to watch a direct screen adaptation of a Jane Austen book and to watch a modern screen adaptation. And I've got quite a few options here, and so I'm just going to go with whatever I feel like at the time. For direct screen adaptations, I've got some favorites, so I might rewatch the 1995 Pride and Prejudice, which I absolutely adore. I might rewatch the Sense and Sensibility. I think it's from 2008. I really like that Sense and Sensibility. Or I might watch Emma from, it's around the same time, 2008, 2009, something like that. I really enjoy that one as well. And I've recently picked up the DVD of Persuasion from the 90s with Kieran Hines and Amanda Root. So I will rewatch that as well. As far as Mansfield Park goes, maybe I should be watching a Mansfield Park adaptation since that's the book that I'm reading. Unfortunately, none of the adaptations that I've seen thus far have been great of Mansfield Park, but I could watch one of those as well. I have access to that as well. And then for a modern screen adaptation, I absolutely love Clueless, and I have access to that on Netflix, so I might rewatch Clueless. I have access to Lost in Austen, which I quite enjoyed as well, which is about a girl from modern times who finds herself trapped in the world of Jane Austen's characters. Or Lost in Austen, I do enjoy that one as well. So I've got lots of options depending on what I feel like watching. So that is my TBR for Jane Austen July. Are you planning to participate? If so, what are you reading for Jane Austen July? I would love to know. And I will see you for another video soon.